You're listening to the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, and this is episode number 86. Hi, friends. I'm Curtis J. Washington. And look, the purpose of this podcast is simple. We are constantly being bombarded with messages like, we could be happy if only we had a particular thing, or we could be successful if only we made X amount of dollars, or we could be at peace if only so-and-so loved me. These messages are not only disempowering, but also they are simply not true. This is because it's not about where you are and where you want to be. It's about who you are right now and who you wish to become. Once you know what the ideal you looks like, then you will automatically start becoming aware of what steps you can take right now to move in the right direction. And the goal of this podcast is to help you look within and discover all the love, all of the beauty, and all of the unlimited potential that you already possess, and for you to set it free for you and for the world to see. Welcome to the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, where we explore practical and actionable steps to help you manifest the greatness that you already possess deep inside. And I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful to have been receiving the feedback that I've been receiving lately. I'm just so thankful that the messages are getting out, and that these wonderful guests that we've had recently and that we'll continue to have are really resonating with so many of you. And it's just so fantastic to be able to offer content for free that people are appreciating and that is having a meaningful impact in their lives. I also just wanted to encourage everyone again, there are additional free resources on the manifestyourgreatness.com website. And of course, if you do need specialized one-on-one private coaching, please do reach out. You can reach out to me directly, or you can go to manifestyourgreatness.com and send an email or click on the Contact Me tab as well. And I'm just really honored to have an opportunity to share the content that I've been able to share. Very grateful for the guests that have taken the time to be joining the show, and I cannot wait to continue this. There are so many wonderful guests that are going to be joining the show, and I can't wait to share their insights with all of you. So on to today's episode. Now, today's episode is entitled HALT. It's just entitled HALT. And I want to talk about what this means and how it can significantly improve your day-to-day feelings about what you're doing and how you're able to interact with people in a more stable, collected manner. And you're just going to feel better overall. And it's a great tool that actually originated out of a treatment, 12 steps. Alcoholics Anonymous used this technique to help people with substance abuse issues to identify stressful triggers that were making it more likely or causing them to slip back into addiction. And I, as you probably know, love incorporating meaningful, useful, beneficial information and sharing it with all of you. I really could care less where it comes from in terms of the origins of the content. I'm much more concerned with how practical and actionable the information is. And this is another example. I've never been in Alcoholics Anonymous, but I would like to say that the HALT method, and HALT stands for hunger, anger, loneliness, and tiredness. Now, these are stressors, and in Alcoholics Anonymous, in the 12-step program, it's incorporated as a tool to help people identify the emotions that they're going through right now. What stressors are they under? And these are the most commonly understood stressors, right? Being tired, being angry, being lonely, or being hungry, right? So these are very common stressors. And when we're stressed like this, we have this emotional burden on us, we can be a lot more vulnerable to slip into doing things that are not good for us. Now, granted, maybe many of you are not, alcoholics. However, this can apply to anything, and that's what I wanted to share today. Because when we talk about this HALT method, it can basically, if you think about everything that we're doing during the day, right? It doesn't have to be alcohol and substance abuse. It could be other things that we are doing to ourselves that are not helping us, right? They're not serving us, they're detrimental, right? Or they can just be annoying things, quirks that we wish we could do away with. But for example, eating too much, right? If you think about this HALT method, right? So hunger is, if you are able to understand, are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? Taking a step back and observing your emotions, you can start to give yourself that space to interpret how you're feeling, and then to take even a further step back and think about the thoughts that you're having, right? So overeating, biting your nails, right? Anything that you can think of that is an act that you do. You can even think of it as an addiction, right? It's something that's underlying, something that you want to stop, something that's not helping you, right? Watching too much TV, right? Eating too much sweet food, endlessly scrolling on social media. These are all things that are not helping you, right? So let's take a step back and let's try to incorporate the HALT method into all of this. So when you are hungry, right, that's a stressor. So when you're hungry, you are more vulnerable to do things that are not beneficial to you. So some people may find themselves, if they bite their fingernails a lot, right? If they bite their fingernails, that's a trigger. Something is triggering you to do that. It's self-preservation, right? You're stressed and your body is reacting and it's turning into an action. And a lot of times it can be an action you don't want, right? So if you're hungry, or if you're angry, or if you're lonely, or if you're tired, you're more likely to engage in those types of behaviors. So when you feel yourself about to take part in a activity that is not beneficial to you, or if you've started it and you realize you're doing it, and that's probably more likely to happen at the beginning once you start to integrate this HALT method, right? So you may find that if you are biting your fingernails, right, you might be biting your fingernails and if you think, wait a minute, okay, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Or am I tired? Right? Think about that. Maybe you're hungry. Okay. What can you do about that? You can make yourself a snack. Maybe something's bothering you. Maybe you're angry. Maybe someone said something that pissed you off, right? And it's, you're ruminating on it and you're biting your fingernails, right? Now okay, I'm angry. I'm angry because of why? What thoughts are coming up for me? Why am I angry? Well, I think this person said something that really offended me, or I think this person is ignoring me, or I think this person is, trying to get under my skin, or whatever. Okay, now you know why, right? What can you do about this? This can lead to a changed emotional state, right? Because once you have control over the thoughts, you understand where they're coming from, you can start that process of actually impacting your emotion. And of course, action follows emotion, right? You started biting your fingernails because you felt angry. So this is a great method. It's a great tool that we can all use to help us through these difficult situations that we find ourselves in, where our emotions are, kind of pushing us to do certain things, right? Maybe we are about to take an extra scoop of ice cream, HALT, right? Wait a minute. Why am I taking this extra scoop of ice cream? I know I'm supposed to be watching what I'm eating. I kind of made a promise to myself that I was going to eat more nutritious foods. And one of the things that I said I was going to do was stop at one scoop of ice cream for dessert when I have dessert. So what's going on? How am I feeling? Am I hungry? Okay, if I'm hungry, is there something more nutritious I could be eating besides the second scoop of ice cream? Let's think about it, right? Am I angry? Okay, do I need to process this anger that I'm going through? Where is that stemming from? Am I tired? Right? Am I just tired and I want to dull and numb that feeling of being tired? So I'm going to have some ice cream to help take my mind off of it, right? What are some other things I could do? Maybe I could take a nap. Maybe I could go for a walk. Maybe I could stand up and stretch. Maybe I could just reach out to someone and just to get your mind off of that. There's a lot of other things you can do, but you have to halt and take a moment to think about what is causing that emotion and how can you reprogram that thought? How can you take that thought and turn it into a thought that serves you? Same thing with loneliness, right? Are you lonely, right? Okay. Am I lonely? If I'm feeling lonely, what's causing that loneliness? And this loneliness, you could be in a crowd of people, of course, and be lonely. You could be surrounded by friends and family and be lonely. This is something that we're going through internally, right? It's an emotion that's caused from a feeling that we're having of not being able to connect, right? Of being misunderstood. It could be anything. So you could be full and surrounded by people and still feel lonely. However, if you are having that feeling of loneliness, you can take a step back and halt and try to back into what thoughts are causing that feeling. And then if you start to realize, okay, I'm feeling lonely because I think that I'm being misunderstood by my best friend and I really would like to spend time with them. And now I feel like I can't talk to them about all of these things that I want to talk to them about. What can you do about that? Right? Maybe you pick up the phone. Maybe you let them know how you feel, right? Maybe you process that a little bit more. Maybe go out for a walk and let yourself cool down and reconnect with nature a little bit and then make a phone call, right? So there are things we can do, but this HALT method is so powerful because it gives you that space, right? And it's so important that we take that time. I've talked about this in other episodes as well, but this ability to give ourselves any time that we can between thought and reaction, right? Between emotion and reaction, rather, between you feel a certain way and you do something, you feel a certain way and you do something. When we don't have that gap, right? When we think something and obviously when we're reacting to something we're not having time to think, right? It's happening. There's an emotion, right? You're cut off in traffic. You want to do something with your hand, with your fingers, right? So all this stuff happens so fast. So HALT is a method that we can use to help slow time down and give ourselves a moment for the rest of our brain and the rest of our cognitive ability to kind of catch up to what's going on, right? And with that, we can start to think about that. We can halt. And this is an easy thing to remember, right? HALT, because of course it means stop, right? So HALT, whenever you find yourself about to do something that's not healthy or that you told yourself you weren't going to do or stop doing, HALT. Whenever you find yourself depressed or feeling like there's nothing that you can do about a certain situation, HALT, right? Whenever you find yourself not motivated to do something that you should do, HALT, right? There are so many things that we could be doing once we give ourselves an opportunity to kind of give ourselves that separation between emotion and immediate action. So that's what I wanted to share with everyone today. I hope this gives you an additional tool to incorporate into your daily life. I found this very useful for myself personally. And just to give you an example of how I'm using it, I love working out. I love going to the gym. I love running. I love trying to stay very active. But what I've realized is that sometimes I will use going to the gym excessively as a way to get away from things that are bothering me, right? I feel like either any of those things. I could either feel lonely, or I could be angry about something that happened at work, or I could be tired and not able to focus on my work. Whatever it is, I often will turn to fitness, to exercise, to kind of distract myself from that. And it can be good to a point, but if you do it excessively, you'll find that with it, just like anything else, it can take its toll. So, for example, when I do have scheduled events, I'm not at my best self because I kind of overdid it. I overworked. I kind of drained myself. I pushed myself so hard that I'm not able to be fully present because I'm too tired. I'm just worn out. I'm drained, right? Or I end up overdoing it. And then when I have scheduled routines like workouts or events that I'm supposed to participate in where I need to be, at my top of my game mentally and physically, I've overdone it and I'm not 100%. So this can be anything. It really can be anything, but this method gives you an opportunity to give yourself a little bit of time to really kind of see if there's anything that you can do to help yourself understand these emotions that you're going through, to get behind them, and to really see if you can reclaim those thoughts that you're having, and to take those thoughts and to transform them into thoughts that not only you believe in, but also that you know are helpful and beneficial for you as well in this moment. So that's what I wanted to share with everyone today. And my challenge, of course, is, you guessed it, the next time you feel yourself stressed and you feel yourself about to react by doing something that is not beneficial to you or the people around you, halt, right? Give yourself that moment, run through that list. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Any of those emotions, if you feel a thought attached to them, back up and dig in, figure out what that thought is, try to define it a little bit better for yourself, dig into it, figure out what's making up that thought, right? And really try to understand it and see what you can do with that thought, right? How can you change that thought and make it a thought that serves you? What can you do with that emotion, and where's that going to drive you, right? What other options does that give you to act in a way that is going to help you and to continue to drive you forward in the direction that you want to go? So that's enough out of me today. And I want to thank you again for joining the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. And I look forward to seeing you on an episode again in the near future. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. If you liked what we've explored on this episode, then you'll love the Manifest Your Greatness coaching program. The Manifest Your Greatness coaching program is uniquely tailored to help support you on your journey to become the absolute best version of yourself. So if you are committed to taking the steps required to significantly and permanently level up in any area of your life, visit manifestyourgreatness.com/contact. Again, that's manifestyourgreatness.com/contact and schedule your free consultation call today. Talk soon.